Hi, this is Eric Johnson. For those of you that are familiar with my videos, this will be my 4th series. The first series was going out to that's what I call a playlist. Actually, I guess it's my 5th playlist. Yeah. It'll be my 4th trip. My first trip was out to Denver, and I went up Bear Creek. Thought this huge chimney, largest social chimney, I guess you could call it, that I've ever seen in my life. I thought that could be the blaze. Maybe it still is, I don't know. But it's, I didn't find the treasure there. Then, the second trip was to Vermilion Creek in northwest Colorado. And I thought the blaze could be a medicine wheel, a Shoshone medicine wheel. And it turned out I was unable to find it there. And I also was not even able to get all the way up the canyon, Vermilion Creek Canyon. So I didn't find the treasure. I might try to see that canyon, or go up that canyon. Well, I wouldn't go up it. I would go around from the north side again on this next trip. However, I will say though, for anyone interested in that area, and I had a guy very recently say he's going to be in that area very soon, and he wanted to hook up with me, and look for the treasure together, which is kind of part of what I'm going to be talking about today. But I got an email from the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources in Colorado, and they told me to make sure that I do not go on state trust land, and to basically, stay off their private properties. And I wrote them back and I said, I never get on private property. You know, if you look at the Forrest Fenn map that's in, I think Too Far to Walk. No, Thrill of the Chase, right? It's in Thrill of the Chase. He puts a sidebar and he talks about the different public lands that you can go on. And the public lands are, like Indian land, BLM, national parks, etc. And I sent the guy back that, and I said, I don't go on private land. I certainly am not going to go on state trust land. It was a good letter. It was a polite letter. They're doing their job. And I made it very clear I'm never going to be on anybody's private land. Certainly never going to be on a homeowner's private land. And that gets to two different things there about what I'm talking about today. The guy who said to me recently, let's hook up in Colorado. I understand where you're coming from when you say that, and you may be watching what I'm doing and we're thinking along the same lines and all that kind of stuff. But you have to understand, for me, I take this very seriously, that this is a fortune that I'm looking for. And I estimate it to be about $3 million. It could be $800,000. That's the lowest estimate I've seen. I've seen $2 million pushed out there as kind of a reasonable estimate. Let's remember something though. That treasure chest is going to be whatever it's worth to somebody. If they put it up for auction, if I find it and I put it up for auction, I could very well there could be some guy in Dubai who uses $20 bills for toilet paper. And he loves the whole concept of the Forrest Fenn hunt, and he just, looks at an auction and immediately says, forget all your piddling around. If you give me the entire chest, I'll give you $10 million. For him, it could be chump change. So all of a sudden, your treasure chest is worth $10 million. You just never know these folks, especially in the day of the internet, where you have so many people able to do things like have auctions and stuff. So I will never ever go out looking for this physically with anybody, because that'll give them an immediate legal reason to claim the treasure. People have said, would you like to get together and when you come out here, would you like to get together and just go over the clues together? I've had people say, would you like to get together here locally and go over the clues together? And again, I'm not trying to be a jerk at all. I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm just saying I literally am going, this to me is not an adventure. This to me is not for funsies. This to me is a real search for treasure. And if you and I have spent a day talking clues, or you come with me for sure, all of that, I don't care what it is. It's, you know, I feel like we're living in the age when contracts hardly matter anymore, because you see so many contracts contested now. You see prenups contested. So many things get contested, and they win when they contest the contract. They've signed their name on it. It doesn't really matter much anymore. If you're smart enough to bring in facts that nobody knew about, or you find out things that nobody knew about around the contract, you can suddenly just basically say, we're going to have a new contract, and all of what you thought you were all the rules you thought that have been set up are no longer really valid. So I don't even have a concept of sitting down and going over clues and someone saying, you know, I was just helping him out. He looks like he needs it, and I want 0% of the treasure if he finds it, probably thinking I'll never find it anyway. Just a fun way to spend a few hours and you know, talk about the treasure. And then I find it, and then it's in the paper, and guess what? Joe Blow says, I want half that treasure. Call me cynical, that's just the way I think, and I'm pretty sure I'm right. So let's just say that I'm going to put it down to human nature, that if in fact, regardless of how we've decided to do anything, when the money is actually there, probably things are going to change. Okay. Something I've been contemplating since this next trip, I pretty much hope is the trip, and I also hope is come some people boating up the river. You know, I'm really thinking I could have figured it out this time. If I haven't figured it out this time, I'm very seriously considering stopping, because this is just so, it works out so well. I'm not sure I could find a series of better clues fitting the poem, etc., than this particular hunt. So if this isn't it, I don't know. I may not pursue it anymore. It's been fun to go out in the West. It's been fun to see the areas out there, and you know, you suddenly you're in a place like Vernal, and you find all these really cool things to do, and you're looking at dinosaurs and Indian artifacts and just all sorts of cool stuff. Pretty good Mexican food, but you know, that's not really what I want to spend my time doing if there's not a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And if this one doesn't work out, I'm not so sure there is. I can't figure it out anymore. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, today, what I'm talking about,